We have huge breaking news. We have a blockbuster NHL trade going down between the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks, with Elias Lindholm and Andrei Kuzmenko being the primary players involved. We'll discuss the full details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a significant NHL trade. You could call it a blockbuster if you will, but the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks, who have actually a lot of connections if you look at the players between the two teams of players trading places in those two clubs in the last few years, have completed another significant NHL trade. Elias Lindholm, who's been one of the top trade bait board players. If you look around, all the top insiders have had Lindholm in the top couple of spots on their list of players expected to be dealt at the deadline, is now officially a member of the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Elias Lindholm is a pending unrestricted free agent. There's no salary retention believed to be involved here, and there's no contract extension negotiated yet on the Canucks side. Now, could he end up staying and re-signing there? It's possible. It probably will be challenging for the Canucks, but we'll have to see what else they do. But for right now, it's definitely a rental situation. I'm sure they'll see how the fit is first and determine if an extension is going to be part of the future or not. But Lindholm is the only piece going from Calgary to Vancouver. There was talk that they had a lot of discussions also around defenseman Chris Tanev. The Canucks are very, very interested in bringing him back, but they were not able to incorporate Tanev into this deal and figure out all the parameters to make it work for both sides. It is believed that they'll likely continue having discussions around Tanev. Doesn't mean for sure it gets done, but it wouldn't be shocking to see the Canucks continue to pursue that to see if they can. So, of course, now with going back the other way to the Calgary Flames includes forward Andrei Kuzmenko, who, of course, had a big year last year with the Canucks, a top goal scorer, but this year has struggled, hasn't really been a great fit with Rick Tocchet as the head coach. Had a better start under Bruce Boudreau last year. Still played okay under Tocchet after the change, but this year hasn't been quite as good. He's been healthy scratch. He's been demoted. Just hasn't worked out. He also had to waive his no-trade clause. He has a modified no-trade where he could block a certain number of teams. Calgary was on his list, so he had to waive to make this happen as well. Also going to the Flames along with Kuzmenko is a 2024 conditional first-round pick. They also got a couple of prospects, including Yanni Yermo, as well as Hunter Brzurkowicz, who was a 2023 third-round selection by the Canucks in this past year's draft and is currently the leading scorer amongst defensemen in the Ontario Hockey League. So he looks like a very promising D prospect for the Flames to get in this deal. Some say this is the case of the Canucks kind of selling high on a prospect just because he's currently leading the OHL in D scoring. There's still some kind of scouts and prospect experts out there who are not entirely convinced that's going to translate, and he's not necessarily going to be, a big offensive defenseman at the NHL level. Now, he certainly could prove them wrong. It happens all the time, but it's not one of those prospects that appears to be like a sure thing. Third-round picks, fourth-round picks, they do make it. They quite often make, scouts in the NHL scouting departments look silly, but there are times when they have a really good junior career and just don't pan out. Not everything translates to the next level. So we'll have to see about that, but at the very least, the Flames obviously like this prospect. Of course, they get another prospect in Yermo and a first-round pick. So they're going to have three assets to add to the cupboard, and they can see how Kuzmenko fits as well. He gets one more year in his contract of $5.5 million. We know Jonathan Huberdeau hasn't been the greatest production-wise in Calgary. He's a distributor, a playmaker. Maybe they try Kuzmenko with him. Maybe they'll connect, and maybe he'll be the goal scorer that he needs on his line to be more successful. I mean, they tried putting him with Lindholm numerous times, and it just hasn't really worked out on a long-term basis. As this trade went down, Lindholm was reportedly on a plane in the air on his way to the All-Star game to represent the Flames. So, unfortunately, now the Flames will not have an All-Star representative at this event. The Canucks have several, and will add to that by getting Lindholm here. So obviously he can, get acclimated and talk to his new teammates in Vancouver, the ones that are going to be at this event, considering a bunch of them are going to be there representing the Vancouver Canucks already. So this adds another layer to the Canucks. One of the better 200-foot players, centerman in the NHL. He's got a good shot as well. If you pair him with the right playmaking winger, I think Lindholm can be a dangerous offensive threat as well. I know there was lots of other interest around the league. We heard teams like the Avalanche had heavy interest, the Bruins had heavy interest, and there was a few others too. There was no shortage of it. Even though his numbers were down a bit this year, they've seen what he's done in the past. His contract's under $5 million, rental player. We'll see. I think, like I said, there is some interest in the Canucks to see if they can figure out an extension, but that's a ways off. I think they'll deal with that later, see how the fit is first, and kind of go from there. So this is one of your first early blockbuster deals. We know Jim Rutherford has a history of getting ahead of things and not waiting for the deadline. He even said in a recent interview, I think as early as today or yesterday, that we may not even wait for the All-Star break to be over. So here we go. The Canucks are all in this year, trying to make a run for it, and see if this can be a big piece to help them out, although it doesn't look like they're done according to a recent report. So let me know your thoughts on the significant trade between the Flames and Canucks down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.